Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And I'm
Roast.
Jessica Bun Bun.
We are here with a new Dexter resurrection theory as we approach the season one finale. But this one's going to be a little bit different, guys, because we're actually looking towards season two.
Yeah, we want to look more so now that Angel is gone, most of Miami Metro is dead.
Yeah,
Who is left that could actually catch Dexter if that's where they're ever going with this? Could he ever be caught? And if he could be caught, are we going to end up seeing a bunch of different people in law enforcement come together, like Quinn, Masuka, Claudette, we see Angela again? I mean, could people come together and it's going to take more than just one person that's going to take him down?
two words: Cop Avengers.
Right.
Let's go. Let's do this. Okay, now the realistic truth here is that Dexter as a franchise, they can't do the same thing every single season. And I think it's really easy to assume, okay, this is the Batista season, and then next season it's just gonna be Quinn, but then it's gonna be like, okay, are we just gonna see all of the same beats then with Quinn that we saw with Batista? And like at a certain point that's gonna get old. So whether it's more people, new methods, they have to find a way to keep that jeopardy there on Dexter, but differently.
Yeah, like I said in the review, I really liked this past episode as much
Mhm.
as I didn't like watching Angel go because I really like the Angel character. And I think there just is too many people at Miami Metro are all getting killed off. I don't want to just see the same thing that's already happened. You know, Maria suspecting him and now she's dead, and Angel suspecting him and now he's dead, and Dokes was suspecting him and now he's dead. And we're just going to have next season that now it's Quinn, and oh, guess what? He's also dead. Like, I think at this point, it's going to take a team to be able to get to him.
So, what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about these individual team members, why they might come together, how they will go about investigating Dexter so that we get something that feels refreshing,
Yeah.
exciting, but also a little bit dramatic.
And how many of them have information like an Angela, a little bit of Quinn here of seeing things or knowing things that once they all come together, that they would actually be able to get enough proof together to do anything about this?
All right, well, before we go any further here, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we do have more coverage coming on Dexter Resurrection, including a big review for the upcoming
Mm-hmm.
finale. And beyond just Dexter, this is going to be a really fun fall, guys. Only Murders in the Building season 5 is right around the corner. We've got our metaphorical magnifying glasses
Right.
out looking for clues. And then Welcome to Derry is coming to HBO this fall. This is, of course, a part of the larger It franchise based
Mm-hmm.
on the Stephen King work. Like, there is a lot of just exciting stuff we can't wait to talk about with you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to everyone who has hit that subscribe button. It's been really nice to see our channel growing, and
Mhm.
we really appreciate your support. And if you do want to talk further with us about Dexter or Only Murders coming up soon, you can head over to our Patreon. We have more discussions going on over there about Dexter. So thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed.
Thank you guys. We very, very much appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's just kick off this discussion by having a quick refresher about Quinn in particular,
Mm.
because, it's been a long time since the original show aired, and I think there's been a lot of confusion of, okay, how much does Joey really know about Dexter and whether or not he's a killer or what's happened in the past?
Yeah, because all we've really seen of him this season is, him at the retirement party for Angel, where
Mhm.
Angel was like, yeah, I have this one last thing I'm working on. And Quinn is like, well, what is it? Nah, I'm not going to tell you. It's like, okay, great. So there really wasn't much of anything there. And then he gets this call from Claudette, who is kind of like, yeah, your Captain Angel is here. Oh, no, he's not our captain anymore. He's retired. Why is he there? Oh, he's working on the Bay Harbor Butcher. No, that's been closed for years. What are you talking about? So that's as much as we've got of Quinn presently, that he knows that Angel is out there, he is retired, and he has been working on something to do with the Bay Harbor Butcher.
All right, so now let's presume that Batista's going to be MIA for some time, and I'm just assuming at some point questions are going to be raised. And if it is Claudette who's raising these questions and she does reach out to Quinn again, I do think the name Dexter could get thrown out at some point because she knows that at the very least Dexter and Harrison, like these are people that Batista was obsessed with and looking into.
Yeah, they are someone who's sort of on the radar a little bit for Claudette. That name Dexter was not mentioned to Quinn, so he doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, but here's where things get interesting. If you go back to the original show here, so let's hop in a time machine for a moment.
Oh, okay. Beep, bop, 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 boop. Okay, we are in the past.
All right, we are in the original show. Hey, look, we have a proper theme song again. Okay, so back on the original Dexter, Quinn did have suspicions once upon a time about whether or not Dexter was involved in Rita's death. Like, that's something that happened. And in season 5, at one point, he even hires Stan Liddy to look into him. Like, this is not a situation where Quinn is just completely has all of his blinders up, doesn't really
No.
think anything about Dexter one way or another. Like, he did have some concerns. He just didn't take it to the level that Dokes took it to, of course.
Absolutely. He had concerns. He had someone looking into it. And he's not the like best super detective out there, but
No.
he does have his own skills.
He has his own skills. Sometimes he is willing to look the other way. His
Yes.
lines are complicated. I mean,
Yes.
he did see Dexter take out Saxon in season 8. It was
Yes.
done, though, in a way that Dexter intentionally presented this as self-defense. It's kind
Yep.
of an interesting parallel in that way to the Gemini killer at the Prater retreat earlier this season.
Yep. Not the first time he's done this.
No, so Quinn knows at the very least that Dexter is capable of taking out other people.
And also, Dexter is in law enforcement. And while he's not, a cop on the street out here, risking his life all the time, people in law enforcement, unfortunately, it happens. They get hurt, they get killed, they have to be in self defense. So, that is something that, while Quinn does blur the lines on a lot of things, that he could see this in that way and be like, okay, yeah, you know what? He is in law enforcement. It was self defense. It is the way that it is. And it's not that out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I think a lot of this theory is just going to come down to dot connecting here with various arms of law enforcement, including people Dexter has worked with past and present. Because I feel like a question Quinn has to ask himself at this point is just going to be like, okay, well, why was Batista suddenly so dead set on Dexter being the Bay Harbor butcher when not willing to tell all of us, which is a part of this that has always been a little bit strange. It's just like why Batista didn't share that. Was he worried they'd talk him out of it?
Yeah, and it could be, but I mean, we know that Angel was recording everything that he was doing. He had his little map of all the different things that were going on. Unless Dexter's going to get his hands on those recordings or any of the information he had, it's possible that that is something that Quinn might get his hands on, that he might be able to thread some stuff together. Claudette was in touch with him, so that would be somebody maybe he would get in touch with as well. And, yeah, he was dead for a while, but, finding out that he's not now, Angel made sure that's all gone now. You are well and alive, and anyone can find you at any time now. That he may be able to then also connect in people like Angela or Teddy and the things that happen in Iron Lake.
Yeah. And that's where I think things get really, really interesting at this point. Because, yeah, we know that Dexter had his Jim Lindsay presumed name for a while in New Blood. But by the end of everything, by the time Batista's meeting up with them in the hospital, like that's basically gone.
Yes.
And even if, even if Quinn, doesn't know about Angela right away, he can go there and talk to Teddy, like you mentioned. And I think Teddy can loop in Angela wherever Angela is. And that can sort of further this whole conversation more because, and this is why I think it matters for season 2. Clyde said a long time ago that Angela was not going to be appearing in this season. So it's like we've all had a little bit of a pause here.
We have, but that doesn't mean that we won't end up seeing her down the road. She is somebody who has quite a lot of information, and this has always been the way that Dexter has been able to get around the Dokeses and Marias and Angels and Angelas and everybody who has these suspicions or enough that, they've seen enough or they feel enough that they know that there's something going on here. But because it's always just one person against Dexter, they've never been able to get him. And, Angela's in the wind at this point being like, all right, I know whatever, but I'm out. I'm pulling the chute. But if you have someone calling her up being like, okay, you're not alone in this. Now there's Claudette, there's the partner, there's, Quinn, there's all these people, Masuka, even there's everybody's coming in together and we're all working on it together, then it's like, okay, I'll come back.
Yeah, because this is the only way I've been able to wrap my head around Angela just deciding, you know what, I'm gonna bail on all this. Dexter, you're fine. I'm not gonna
So
bring.
weird.
Yeah, it's the biggest plot hole with this show, and I think a lot of it was just them not realizing they were gonna make Resurrection at the end
Right.
of New Blood. So they just wrote themselves into a corner. So I've tried to excuse it away by being like, okay, Angela has someone else to think about, a daughter. She's kind of just trying to be protective of that way, may have realized nothing would have worked out for her. But as you said, the idea now that, okay, you do have people who have your back on this. And
Right.
plus, there's this other factor in it that if Angela knows that Batista is dead and he's dead because he couldn't let go of the information she initially told him, like, I know Batista's responsible for his actions, but at the same time, like, it's not hard to think she would feel responsible for that.
And here's the thing, maybe they're going to do this a little more privately
Mhm.
instead of the way that everyone else has kind of gone about it, where it's like, I know who you are and I'm coming after you. Well, that's not really that helpful when and if Dexter is an actual killer and when he comes to just take care of that problem and you
Yeah.
haven't really told anybody or nobody believes you. It's just you need to do it a little more in secret like they did over on Smoke. So, that show's been over a little while now, but
Yeah.
they thought somebody was doing something bad. They organized a little task force and they didn't tell that person and they went about it that way to be able to gather evidence. And that's the only way that they're ever going to get anywhere near him.
Yeah, and this is why someone like Claudette at this point is the glue of this whole operation. And this is why, as frustrating as this character may be at times to people, she's really important for the future of this show. Angel's biggest problem was he was too emotionally invested, which is why we've seen on a million different cop shows everyone always be like, go home, you're too close to the case. It's because, like, of course Angel is. He wanted revenge on what happened to Maria, and
Yep.
he felt duped that Dexter was in his life for so long and he never knew the truth.
Yeah, there has to be somebody that's part of this case or leading this case that doesn't have a horse in the game. That's why it was always really a cool thing when we had like Lundy come in, where he's just like, yeah, I'm Super Agent Lundy and I'm here to take care of business. And yeah, I don't really have any ponies in this game. Of course, him and Deb later. But
Oh,
at that
yeah.
point, he just he didn't have a relationship with Dexter at that point that he came in and was like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, and we know that Quinn is going to be biased because he had his relationship with Deb. He's going to feel
Right.
duped in his own way. And then you look at Angela, like she had a romantic relationship at one point
Right.
with Jim. So it's like they may not have the same feelings about it that Batista did, but they're going to have feelings. Claudette can be sort of the central hub for this operation. I do want to see it be more of a slow build. I want to see them potentially collect witnesses, information. Like this is still a chance to find out something more about what happened with Dexter in between the end of the original show and the start of New Blood. Like there's all that time there. And I refuse to believe it is just a lumberjack era. I think there had to be something more that they could dive into.
Absolutely, absolutely. And even just the fact that his past in Miami is kind of muddled with what happened to Rita and things that be happening around him. His sister is dead, his father is dead, his biological mother is dead, his adopted father is dead. Everybody around Rita is dead. Everyone around him is dead, right? So at this point it's just kind of like, well, why is that happening to just one person?
Yeah, that's it's a big thing that they have to explain here one way or another.
Yeah, for Dexter and the amount of sort of killings behind him and things that people do know that are out there. Quinn knows some stuff, Angela knows some stuff, people do know some stuff, and they are out there. There's, of course, the people like Lumen who may never come back, but she definitely knows some stuff as well. There are
Yeah.
people that know that are still out there in the ether. I mean, Al is out there and he knows as well. He doesn't know it's Dexter, but
Yeah.
he knows that Red is out there killing people. There's enough out there now, and that's tied to Dexter Morgan's name, and that he worked for Miami Metro, all of these things that I really feel like there will be a task force that will look into it. At this point, I just don't think that he can go on living normal Dexter life. I know there's lots of people that are feeling like, oh, maybe he'll join New York Metro and do some work there. And man, I would love nothing more. But they're going to have to dig into his past, and he knows it. So why would he want something like that? It just feels like he's so far gone. He has such a history that there's no way we go into future seasons without somebody looking into him.
Yeah, and honestly, I want that. And it's not that I want to see Dexter killed off or arrested in season
No,
2. It's
he
just
needs a foil.
yeah, he needs a foil. This show is way better when it has high stakes. Like the biggest problem that they've written themselves into is just that this season has been so unbelievably good.
I
And
know.
like the whole Batista cat and mouse game was 10 out of 10 awesomeness. And it's like, okay, you have put yourselves in a position where you really have raised the stakes. You have to find a way to make all of this matter. And I kind of think rather than just have all of these cops go on their individual journey, I think you need to make season 2 so big and so epic with all of this that in the event they all do fail at it, then we're looking at a possible season 3 and being like, okay, what now? And like that's a really cool, exciting possibility. It's like the fear of the great unknown.
Absolutely. And with someone like Claudette as well, because she isn't tied to the case, she's going to have a much harder time actually getting real proof and real information. I mean, at this point, the Bay Harbor Butcher case, I mean, it is cold.
Yeah, really, really cold. And I think that's going to be a really fun challenge. I hope that this is the direction they explore moving forward. It's a chance for a lot of nostalgia.
Yeah.
But let's hear from you guys. What do you think about the idea of the Cop Avengers on Resurrection Season 2? Do you think that this is the right team? Are there other characters you want to see involved? Like, let us know all of this in the comments. And of course, hit that subscribe button for more on Dexter Resurrection, Only Murders in the Building, and you can support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. Thank you guys so much for your support, and we will see you here next time.